And so as we start our practice this morning, I wanted to share with you just an old Sanskrit poem that has really, it's been a profound reminder for me. And one of my students years ago just recited this one time in class, and it just really struck a nerve. And I come back to it time and time again, and it's called "Look to This Day." And so we're going to start with this offering. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence, the joy of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power, the sweetness of love, and the exquisite pain of loss. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Just a profound reminder to be right here. And we'll use this as a starting place for our practice. And I just invite you to let your eyes close if that's comfortable for you. And start to feel into the breath. Letting yourself arrive here in your practice, in your body. And you might start to notice the gentle and subtle movement of your breath. A little length and expansion of your in-breath, creating some space. And release and letting go of the out-breath. And just noticing how your breath manifests in your body. And then starting to bring a little bit of movement here. So I'd invite you to just move your upper body and torso side to side. Starting here, it's like a wave. Good. And then as you feel ready, you can kind of exaggerate this movement or kind of expand in any which way you like that feels good to your body. So moving maybe into a gentle twist or side bend, or maybe stretching a little bit through your neck and your shoulders, your jaw. And kind of using the breath as a guide here to initiate this movement. And moving in a way that feels nurturing and organic and mobilizing to you. Good. And there's no rush, but when you do feel ready, we're going to transition forward to the hands and the knees and just continue this intuitive movement. Okay, so as you come forward, you can start with just a basic cat-cow, opening the heart on the in-breath and then rounding the spine on the out-breath. Just that movement back and forth. And then of course you can just get curious with it and explore. Maybe you sit all the way to child's pose or come forward all the way into a little cobra or a sphinx. Or move your hips side to side or in a circle. And at any point in your practice today, you're welcome to close your eyes if that feels good to you. Just to move the attention, your gaze, your awareness inward. And then eventually here, we're going to make our way into downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. Push through your palms, lift your hips up. Stretch, maybe a little movement or pedaling through the feet here, one heel to the floor and then the other. And balancing your effort with your ease in this downward dog. And so notice the effort and the strength that's required here to support your down dog. But then you might also notice where you might soften, where you might release tension, where you can let go of some efforting in the body. Specifically around your neck, your jaw. Let's take one more breath in downward facing dog. A little lifting through the hips and the tailbone, drawing your thighs back and heels toward the floor. Bend your knees a little bit here. And maybe look forward toward your hands, step or hop toward the top of your mat. So you're in a standing forward fold. Feet parallel. Take an inhale and extend your spine, flat back. And then exhale, fold and bring it in. Good. One more just like that. Full breath, extend and lengthen your spine, crown forward. And then exhale, fold and bring it in. And hang out here for several breaths. I personally like to move a little bit here, maybe a ragdoll pose or a gentle sway. Or you can even reach down for your big toes and just not a lot of efforting in this forward fold. Just allow gravity to pull you down. Good. One more full breath here. Feeling into your hamstrings and your back body. And then let's go ahead and feel the feet on the ground. Come all the way up to standing. Take your time, because we've been in that forward fold for a bit. And then reach and lengthen the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Good. Moving a little bit here with the breath. Reach the arms all the way up alongside your ears. Stretch up. Maybe lift your gaze. Exhale, swan dive forward, coming into your forward fold. Let your head and your neck relax. Halfway lift on the in-breath, lengthen out your spine. Exhale, fold. Just move with your breath here. Come all the way back up to standing. So feel your feet on the ground. Reach back up, maybe a little mini back bend here. And exhale, hands gather together back at the heart. Perfect. Adding on a little bit. Stretch up tall. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift on your in-breath. Chest and belly lengthen away from your thighs. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And this time, let's bring the hands down and make our way to plank pose, upper push-up. And a little more efforting here in the body, strength through your core, lifted through your belly. Inner thighs hug toward midline. Take one more full breath here, pushing the ground away. And then we're going to lower down Chaturanga and Navasana. So the whole body shifts forward a little bit, lower down, elbows hug in. And then point your toes, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the heart up to your version of Cobra. Stay for an extra breath. Pull your chest and your rib cage forward, lifting through the heart. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. Push through your palms, lift your hips up. And this time in our down dog, I'd like for you to tiptoe forward just a little bit, a couple of inches, narrowing your stance, and then take your feet out to about the width of your mat. So you're kind of in this wide, boxy version of down dog. And then press down through your right hand, your right palm, unweight your left hand, and then bring it around the outer right foot, ankle, or calf. So this is a twisting down dog. Push with your right hand, your right palm, pull gently on that right foot or ankle. Open your chest toward your right. So you're kind of looking past your right arm. Take one more cleansing breath here. Pull that right hip back away from the shoulder. And then release and bring your left hand back to the ground and switch sides. So now unweight your right hand. Reach around wherever you can. The knees can be a little bit bent if that's helpful. Hold on to the outer left foot, ankle, or calf. Push with your left hand. Turn your chest to your left. Use that right hand on your left leg as some leverage. Looking past your left arm. Couple more breaths here. Pull that left hip back away from the shoulder. Wring it out. Good. And then release. Bring that right hand back to the ground. Bring your feet back in. Bend your knees. Look forward. Step or hop toward your hands. Lengthen out your spine. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Good. Bend your knees. You're going to put the weight back into your heels a little bit for chair pose and extend the arms up. So we want to make sure the knees aren't going way forward and beyond the toes. Pull your knees and your shins and thighs back and sit a little bit deeper, like you're literally about to sit down into a chair behind you. Bend your elbows. So now you're goal posting the arms, opening up the chest. Try to pull your shoulder blades a little bit toward one another, lifting up through the heart. Good. Take another full breath here. And then clasp your hands behind you. Pull back through your shoulders. Telescope up through your ribs and your chest. Think about opening up the heart a little bit more. Take one more breath here. Good. Now keep your clasp and come into a forward fold. Only if that feels good to you. If that feels aggressive for your shoulders, just release your clasp and bring your hands back to the floor. 2 more breaths. Good. and then release your clasp gently, bring your hands back down. Flat back as you inhale, extend and lengthen your spine. Good. Plant your hands to the floor. You can step or hop your way back. Plank pose. Really strong and lifted through the belly. Chaturanga, Navasana, all the way down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Open up the chest, lift the sternum. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Lengthen your right leg back behind you and up to a three-legged down dog. And for now, try to keep your hips really square and level. So you're not lifting your right hip up higher than your left. You might walk your hands slightly back, a couple of inches. Try to ground your left heel toward the floor. If it doesn't quite ground, that's okay. Strong and steady. Push with your right hand. Now let's walk the left hand back to about the middle of the mat. Okay? The palm can be down or you can be up on your fingertips. Use your core. Really hug in toward midline. Maybe take the left hand away from the ground. Teeter-totter. Down dog. And if it's not working for you today, just back it up. Bring your left hand back to the floor and just come to a place that feels better. Take one more breath. Good. Now replace your left hand back at the top of the mat. As you exhale, pull your right knee in toward your chest to lift through your core around your spine. And then inhale, take the right leg back behind you and up again. Three-legged down dog. And exhale, pull that knee in. Good work, you guys. One more of these. Reach the leg up, extend. Exhale, pull that knee in and step the foot all the way through. Let's come down to the back knee. If you need to double up your mat on that side, extra cushion, feel free to do that. So we're in a low lunge with the left knee down. Send your arms up. For a couple breaths, pull that right hip back, left hip forward, tailbone down, reach up through the arms and the fingertips. Take another breath here. Exhale, bend your elbows. Deepen into your lunge just a little bit here. Maybe feel into the back quad, back thigh. And then open your chest more, just to your own degree and range of motion. Take one more breath here. Good. Now re-extend the arms up. Bring both hands to the floor. Keep your left hand on the ground and stretch your right arm up for a twisting lunge. Now the back knee can lift if you want. So you can tuck the back toes under, lift that back knee off of the mat, and open up your right arm and your chest toward this right side. Good. Hang out here for just a couple more breaths. Good. Lean it back, maybe a sigh out your mouth. Cleanse and let it go. Good. Right hand back to the floor. Now walk your hands all the way over toward the left side. So you're in a wide straddle, facing that left side of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen your spine. And then exhale, fold. Good. Feel your feet on the ground here. Strong legs. But see if you can just let the crown of your head lengthen down toward the floor and toward your mat. Good. 2 more breaths here. Nice. And then inhale, stretch forward, flat back, lengthen. Go ahead and walk your hands back up to the top of your mat. Now listen here, we're going to step into a standing split. So bend into your front leg and lift the back leg up. Fingertips can stay on the floor. Or if you want to, you can really start to fold over your right leg. Maybe take right hand and forearm back behind your calf. Good. Feel the inner and outer edges of that right foot press into the floor. Take another breath. Maybe float that left leg up 1 more inch. And then fingertips back to the floor. Bend your left leg. Pull your knee in toward your chest, like you're doing a little crunch. And then step your left foot to the floor next to your right foot. So you're back into a standing forward fold. Good. Separate your feet a little bit. You might even turn your toes out some. And then bend your knees and come into what's called Malasana, the squat pose. So sitting down, tailbone toward the floor, palms together at your heart. If this is challenging for your knees or your ankles, you can always sit on a block or just not come down quite so far. And so we're kind of working the knees to the triceps, to the outer arms. And we're going to turn this into crow pose, Akasana. All right, so bringing the hands now to the floor out in front of you, picking up the hips, again, working the knees to triceps, shifting forward, maybe lifting the heels of the feet up, and looking forward, maybe picking the feet up off of the mat for crow. You're welcome to have a block out in front of you or a little crash pad. Take another breath. And you can step or jump into your chaturanga. And then upward dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Good work, you guys. All right. Let's take the left leg back. Reach it up. Remember, we're going to keep the hips and the shoulders really neutral and square. Try not to lift your left hip higher than your right. You might walk your hands in just a little bit if that's helpful. Push with your hands and draw your right heel down toward the floor. Good. Now press with your left hand. Walk your right hand back to about the middle of your mat. You can be on your palm or up on the fingertips. Feel your balance here. Connect to your core. Maybe take the right hand away. You can hug it alongside the body. Try not to lose the basic structure and container of your down dog. Good. One more breath here. And then right hand to the floor. And then pull your left knee in toward your chest. Lift through your core around your spine. And then inhale, left leg back, reach it a little taller. And exhale, hug that knee in. Good. And let's do one more of these. Inhale, and with your breath, reach up. Exhale, knee in. Step it through. We're going to ground the right knee. Coming into our low lunge. Pad the knee if that's helpful, arms up. Couple breaths here, hug that left hip back, right hip forward, tailbone down. Reach up through the arms and the fingertips. Bend your elbows. Maybe shift the hips forward a little bit. Feel into your right quad. Good, a couple more breaths here, maybe opening up the chest toward the ceiling. Good. Now re-extend the arms. Bring the fingertips down to the floor. Keeping that left knee over your ankle, right hand to the floor. Stretch your left arm up. So you're coming into a twisting lunge. Again, you have the option of picking up the back knee. So maybe tuck those back toes under. Fire up the leg. Push with your right hand. Open up your chest. Good, everybody. Couple more breaths here. Cleansing breaths. Bring it out. Maybe send that sigh out your mouth. Good, perfect. Left hand back down. Walk your hands over to the right this time. So you're coming into that wide straddle, forward fold. Flat back as you inhale, and then fold it in. So I'd like for you to pick something different to do in this forward fold. I'm going to give you a couple of options. You can unweight your hands, clasp your hands behind your back. You could reach for your big toes. You could walk your hands forward almost like a down dog. Or you could come into a straddle headstand. And just take your time here. We'll stay for a few breaths. Feeling into your body moment to moment. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and release the clasp if we've got that, or bring your feet down if you've been in headstand. Flat back as you inhale, lengthen. Walk your hands back up to the top of the mat. Good. And then step into standing split. So your right leg goes up this time as you fold over left leg. Fingertips can stay on the floor. Or maybe you take left hand and forearm behind your calf, a little hugging in, forehead toward that left shin. Good. Couple more breaths here. Lengthen, reach up through those right toes. Good. Fingertips back to the floor. Pull your right knee in toward your chest. Step your foot down next to your left. So you're in a standing forward fold. Take the feet out a little tiny bit. Maybe turn your toes out. Coming back into our Malasana, or squat. So bend your knees. Drop your hips down. Knees to the outsides of the arms. Palms together. Good. Send your breath down into your hips and pelvis, low back, hip flexors. Couple more breaths. All right, so one more crow pose. Bring your hands out in front of you. Lift your hips up. Try to work your knees to your triceps, even higher toward your armpits this time. Hands wide And then lean forward, pull belly in. Pick up your feet. Good. And instead of going back to chaturanga, we're just going to bring our feet back to the floor and come into a standing forward fold. Whatever variation you want to do here. Good. And then come all the way up to standing. So ground your feet, reach arms up, and exhale, hands together at the heart. Good, so standing in mountain pose here. We're going to reach the arms up, grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. And you're going to give a little pull, a little tug on that wrist, up and over into a side bend, side body stretch. Feel your feet root down. Shift your hips a little bit to your right, and maybe even the weight into that right foot. And so much so that you might lift your left foot off of the mat. It's not required, it's just a little balance challenge here. Keep breathing. Good, and then both feet to the ground, come back up. Switch the sides, hold your left wrist with your right hand. Pull on the wrist, up and over, side bend, side body stretch. Shift your hips a little bit to your left. Maybe the weight shifts over to your left foot. Pick up your right. Good. Keep breathing. And then right foot down, arms reach up, stretch up, and release. Hands down. Good. Hands to hips. We're going to shift the weight into the right foot and setting up for tree pose. So shifting the weight into the right foot, pull the left foot up, anywhere along that standing leg. Palms come together at the heart. Find your gaze, drishti. Keep it steady. And then extend the arms all the way up. Finding your way into this tree pose. Root down through that right foot, standing tall. Good. Take another breath here. Find some length. Good. Now arms stay up. You're going to point your left knee forward, flex your foot back, and lift the knee up, this high mountain pose. And you're going to shift this into a warrior three pose. So this left leg is going to kick back behind. Arms go forward. I'm going to turn to the side. Arms can go forward or back along your sides. You can always bring your hands to your right thigh or fingertips to the floor. Try to square off the hips. Left hip and toes point down. And then lengthen through the crown of your head. 2 more breaths. Good. Gently step your left foot back for a high lunge or crescent lunge. Arms reach up. Good. Hang out here for just a couple of breaths. Good. Perfect. Now, we're going to work into what's called a turbo twisting lunge. Are you ready? Okay? So the left knee is going to bend at a hover. The right arm is going to swing down and go back behind your left arm, left fingertips forward. Squeeze those inner thighs towards center line. Reach through the arms. 2 more breaths here, you guys. Maybe bend your back knee and kiss the floor with your knee, and then bring it back up. Last cleansing breath. Good. Unwind out of that. Bring the arms back up. And this is my gift to you. Pyramid pose. Fingertips to the floor. Straighten out your front leg. Fold. Maybe step your back foot forward a little bit and try to ground your back heel. Continue to draw that right hip and thigh back. Good. Take another full breath here. Bend into that front leg so you can get your hands to the ground. Now your right leg is going to stretch back behind and up, three-legged down dog. Bend, three-legged back bend. So feet to the floor, lift your heart up, reach the right arm and fingertips back, maybe gaze past your right fingertips. One more huge breath, find your edge. Then flip it back to three-legged dog. So right leg back into the air. And now you're going to bring your right leg all the way through into pigeon. So right knee through. And staying in your pigeon for 5 more deep breaths. Good. Last full breath here in pigeon. And come back up. Back upright. Good. Shift over to your right hip. So you're going to lean over to the right. This back leg, this left leg will swing around. And coming into Navasana, boat pose. So lean back a little bit, pick up your feet. You can always support the knees here. The shins parallel with the ground. Lift up through your chest a little bit. Maybe send your arms forward. A little bit of core here, shoulders back. Make sure you're soft through your neck and your jaw. You might just turn your head side to side to make sure you're not clenching and gripped up around your neck. Navel to spine. Take another full breath. Maybe straighten up through your legs. Good, guys. Okay. Now, feet to the floor. Bring the hands behind you. Fingertips pointing forward. Pull the shoulders back. Elbows toward one another. Lift your chest up. Good. Maybe lift all the way up into a tabletop if that feels good to you. Mindful of your shoulders and your wrists. Good. Last full breath. breath here. And have a seat. Once again, cross the ankles out in front of you, come forward, make your way back to down dog. If you want to take a vinyasa here, you may, chaturanga, cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. Good. Take a full breath here in downward dog. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the top of your mat. Flat back as you inhale and elongate your spine. Exhale, fold. Good. You're going to come all the way back up to standing. So ground your feet, reach up, maybe a little mini back bend. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Good. So hands back to hips. We're going to start once again with tree pose. This time shifting your weight over to your left foot. Find your gaze, drishti. The right foot will come up to inner thigh or inner calf, palms together. Feel into your center, your sense of balance, your drishti or your gaze. And then send the arms up. So reaching tall, feel into the ground with your left foot. Root it down and grow a little taller. Good. Last full breath here. Reach, reach, reach. Now arms stay as they are. Point your right knee forward. Flex your foot back. Really lift up through this right leg. Fingertips, crown of head, reach up tall. Last breath here in this high mountain. And then you're going to kick your right leg back to a warrior three balance. Okay, so keep your hips square, arms can reach forward, or they can go back along your side. It's fine to have a little micro bend in your standing leg. Hands can always come to the left thigh or fingertips to the floor. We're trying to get that back leg parallel with the ground, and same thing with the upper body and torso. 2 more breaths here. Reach through those right toes forward through the crown of your head. Gently, with ease and control, step your right foot to the very back of your mat and send your arms up, high lunge. Hang out here for a couple of breaths. Find your bearings, strong through the legs and lower body. Good. Take 1 more breath here. And then we're going to do that funky turbo twisting lunge. Okay, so the right knee will bend at a hover. Left arm drops down and goes back behind you, and right fingertips forward. Both legs are bent at about right angles. Squeeze inner thighs. Reach through the arms and the fingertips in equal and opposite directions. Good. Feel your legs. Couple more breaths. Maybe kiss your right knee to the floor and bring it back up. Good, you guys. And gently unwind out of that. Back to high lunge. Arms up. Exhale, fingertips to the floor for pyramid. Straighten out your front leg. Whew. Hallelujah. Step your back foot forward a little bit if you want for your pyramid. Malasana. Squaring off the hips, folding over that left leg. Feel your body here. Just feel sensation, breath, maybe a little bit of movement. Good. Take one more breath here, everybody. Perfect. Now bend into your front leg so you can get your hands to the ground. Extend your left leg back behind you. Reach it up. Three-legged down dog. Bend your left leg. Open your hip. And just appreciate this stretch here for a moment. Left heel towards your right glute. If you want to keep going, flip your dog over, unweight your left hand. Flip your dog over, three-legged back bend or wild thing pose. Left fingertips reach toward the front of the room. Lean back a little bit, maybe gaze past your left hand. 2 more breaths. Find your edge. Good. Everybody bring it all the way back. Three-legged downward dog. Left leg still in the air. And left leg into pigeon pose. Square off the hips. Walk your hands forward and fold. Feeling whatever there is to be felt here in the left hip and leg. Feel your breath moving through you. Couple more breaths here. And then gently ease back up. So back to your upright position. And we'll shift over to that left hip. Right leg will swing around. So you're in a seat. Navasana boat pose. So lean back a little bit. Engage your core. Pick up your feet. Now we're going to move a little bit here in this boat pose, doing little boat sit-ups. Okay, so on your inhale, I'd like for you to stretch your legs out and lean back a little bit. Maybe touch your shoulder blades, but no more. And then exhale, pull back up to your boat. There's definitely a point of no return, so don't go that far. So inhale, stretch it out. Exhale, pull back up. Good. Inhale, stretch your legs out. Exhale, pull back up. If this bothers your low back, just stay in regular boat. 3 more of these. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, stretch it out, touch the shoulder blades, and exhale, pull back up. Last one, stretch it out, and exhale. Good. Feet will come to the floor, and you're going to roll down onto your backs, pull the knees in toward your chest. Rock side to side, release your lower back. Good, and countering here with a bridge pose. So bring the soles of your feet to the ground. Feet hip width apart and parallel, heels of your feet underneath your knees. Bend your elbows like robot arms, fingertips toward the sky. Hug your shoulder blades and back of the head toward the floor. Puff up through your heart first, and then push up into bridge pose. And so pelvis can lift. Just make sure your heart is still lifted as though you had a string attached to your sternum, lifting you up. Lift from the back of the heart, front of the heart, more so than your hips. Imagine you had a block between your thighs. Just squeeze it in, like shrink wrap, hugging toward that center. You're welcome to clasp your hands underneath your body and shimmy your shoulders and shoulder blades closer in. Just make sure you've got space at the back of your neck, at your cervical spine. Now we're going to stay in bridge for about 5 more breaths. If you are feeling inclined to move into a full wheel or full back bend, you're welcome to take it there, but no rush. If you are going into full wheel, you will keep your hips up. Bring your hands to the floor next to your ears, fingertips toward your shoulders. Prop up onto the top of your head, so you're kind of looking behind you. I like to turn my fingertips out a little bit, hug my shoulders back, and then straighten out the arms, coming into Urdhva Dhanurasana, this full wheel, upward facing bow. Couple more breaths wherever you are. Good, and then gently lower it back down. When you're ready, knees pull in. Give yourself plenty of time to just come out of that back bend, whatever version you are in. And then let's come into a happy baby pose, grabbing a hold of the outer edges of your feet. The soles of the feet face up. Lengthen tailbone and sacrum down toward the floor. So you're kind of trying to neutralize your lower back, and instead of being in extreme flexion. If it would feel good here to straighten out your legs and come into more of a straddle, you can do that. And then eventually you're going to pull the right knee in toward your chest and just stretch your left leg out long to the floor. Bring the left hand over to the right knee. Guide your right leg over to your left side for a spinal twist. The right arm can stretch out to the right, or you could goalpost the arm, and maybe turn your head to your right. 5 deep breaths here. Winding down, just to let your body soften and really receive this stretch, this twist. And then as you're ready, bring the right knee back in and stretch the right leg out to the floor. Just let it be. And hug left knee in toward your chest, and we'll just switch sides. Pull the knee in. Right hand to left knee. Guide your left leg over for your twist. Stretch your left arm out to the left, or you goalpost the arm. Maybe turn your head to your left. 5 deep breaths in your twist. Soften softening, a release, a cleansing, and a letting go. And when you feel pretty even on these two sides for your twist, you can bring that left knee back in and stretch the left leg out to the floor next to your right leg. Reach your arms up and back and give a nice deep full body stretch. Good, and then arms will come down along your sides, opening up the palms, maybe taking your feet and legs a little bit wider. Just settling into corpse pose, our final relaxation. Shavasana. Nothing to do here, nothing to strive for or accomplish. Just allow your body to rest. Appreciating the ground underneath you, the solid earth. Look to this day, for it is life. The very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence. The joy of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power, the sweetness of love, and the exquisite pain of loss. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. You begin to just feel your physical body lying here on the earth. You can start to expand your breath a little bit and start to move through the fingers and the toes And start that transition out of your corpse pose, coming over to your side, fetal position. And then all the way back up to your seat on your mat. On your next in-breath, let's reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands together in front of the heart. And thank you for practicing with me today, everybody. We'll finish our practice with one round of Om. If you'd like to join in, take a full breath in. Namaste.